What's up everyone, Darcblade here with an impressions video of Anthem. Now the Anthem VIP demo has been and gone and the free demo is on the horizon. And lots of people are giving their opinions on the upcoming Bioware game, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on the game. Now I'm coming into Anthem from a point of view that not many others seem to be coming from. And that is, I see Mass Effect in this game more than any other game. Yes, there are elements of Destiny, Warframe, so on and so forth, but having time with the game makes me think, is this going to be a replacement for the Mass Effect series? And the answers are both yes and no. Without going into too much detail, story-wise it can't compare to Mass Effect. In all honesty, even though we've seen a small snippet of the story with the demo, dialogue choices when interacting with other characters in the world felt more like Bioware light, for lack of a better term. You normally only have 2 dialogue options, and I doubt that your choices are going to be that impactful. But I could be wrong here, and we'll have to wait and see when the full game comes out. On the flip side though, when it comes to gameplay, especially combat, then yes, I do think this is the next step in the evolution that Mass Effect could have taken. Anyone who has played Mass Effect Andromeda should be able to see or feel the similarities between the game. Granted, Anthem is a lot smoother and has improved upon so many aspects that were in Mass Effect Andromeda, but nonetheless certain moves and abilities, the way you run, walk, sprint, dodge, aim and shoot with your weapons, abilities, and even the combo system the game has all feels familiar and throwbacks to the entirety of the Mass Effect series. Hell, even pressing up on the D-pad to use your super feels like pulling out a Cobra missile from the Mass Effect series. When it came to the different javelins, you had 4 of them, eventually. For most of the demo you only had access to 2, but with all the issues the VIP demo had, EA and Bioware finally gave us access to all 4 of the javelins, albeit for a limited time. Each one seems to fill numerous roles. You have the Ranger, which seems to be a jack of all trades, Colossus that can fill a tank or heavy weapons role, you have the Storm that is all about the abilities, and then there's the Interceptor, which is the fast moving, lightly armoured, close range specialist out of the bunch. Each are fun to play, and I'm going to have trouble choosing a main out of these. When it came to weaponry, the gunplay felt similar to previous Mass Effect games that Bioware have done, which for some people may be a turn-off as sometimes they lack weight and impact. But there was a good selection of weaponry, and you could even craft weapons and abilities for your javelins. How this will play into the main game we'll have to wait and see, but hopefully this means that we can just craft what we wish rather than having to rely on RNG in the form of having it drop from a boss or something. When it comes to customizing your javelins as well, there are a lot of options and you're able to come out with beautiful exosuits. Granted, when the full game comes out, I'm sure some of the cooler options will be locked behind microtransactions, which could be a turn off, but as long as they give us what we got in the demo, it's a good start. Anthem as a game looks gorgeous, and although we've only really got to experience one environment, and I cannot really fault at the moment anything to do with the graphical prowess of the title. One thing that Anthem does that will instantly draw people's attention is its flying mechanics. Flying your javelin around was one of the highlights of the game for me, and whilst yes, the novelty of it may wear off eventually, it's something that Anthem does well. Okay, I did experience it on console and with a controller, so I have not experienced the PC mouse controls when it comes to flight, as I hear there is a little bit of an issue with that, but for the most part flying is one of the game's highlights. And also thanks to the flight, it means that the levels aren't flat, they're very vertical, which brings an element of freedom. And this, for me, is where the appeal of Anthem comes in. And during my time with the VIP demo, I was able to come up with, well, different builds for the various javelin suits. Granted, my time with them was limited, but I can definitely see potential here, and for me personally, this is what is most appealing about Anthem. If the gameplay wasn't as entertaining, if the combat wasn't as fluid as it is, and there was no real differences with the different javelins and the builds you can create, then this game would definitely fall by the wayside for me. But this is just focusing on the positive. There is a lot of negative things to say about Anthem, and especially the VIP demo. Obviously the connection issues as well as the stability of the demo was very lackluster and led to a lot of disappointment. If this happens with the main game, then it could be a deal breaker for many. Also, I found the gameplay loop a little bit, well, dull, and in my personal opinions, this is where the Destiny comparisons come into place. The quests seem rather, well, simple. Go here, hack this, shoot some enemies, rinse and repeat. Albeit that is a really simplified way of putting it. I'm also worried, of course, about the future of the game in terms of its support from EA. as well as any sort of microtransactions implemented into the games. I'm sure many of you have seen the screenshot of Reddit of skins costing upwards of $20, and if this is the case, then it's going to unfortunately turn a lot of people off. Now, of course, Anthem is a little bit of a topic for discussion. You have white knights defending the game regardless of its faults, which, although I am biased, I still admit the game does have faults, and the potential for EA to ruin the game is there. But on the flip side, you have the people who despise EA regardless of what title they have a hand in making. And whilst I am by no means a lover of EA whatsoever, I am hoping to give Bioware the benefit of the doubt, as I don't want to see the developer go under. But I fear that even if Anthem performs just okay, it still might not be enough for EA. Part of me is thinking that they want a game on the same levels as, say, Fortnite in terms of profits and that, and I fear that Anthem may not be that, but I hope it does well enough to keep Bioware afloat. But overall, I'm cautiously optimistic. Granted, I may be biased coming from a place that generally supports Bioware games, thanks to covering Mass Effect and Dragon Age on my channel, but I'm not hating Anthem. In all honesty, I would like to cover the game, especially seeing as Mass Effect has died down, and this could be the next spiritual successor in the line of Mass Effect style videos on the channel. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see how this all pans out. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on Anthem, and if you'll be interested in seeing Anthem related videos. These of course will not be replacing Monster Hunter on the channel whatsoever, but the Bioware fans who have been supporters of the channel have been starved of content of late, and this could be a possibility, especially when Monster Hunter is in a little bit of a lull period leading up to Iceborne. But anyway, until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you my first impressions of Anthem. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.